G'day folks, this is Raymond Foster, hope you're doing great. I wanted to talk about in this video simply the definition of specifically karma yoga, or just karma itself. A lot of folk, especially in the West, have a very big misconception of what karma means. A lot of people think when you speak about karma, they think punishment for bad action or reward for good action. But it has a little bit to do with karma, but that's not karma. That's something completely different. Okay? So what is karma? Karma simply means doing. Karma means action. So it's not reward for good action, nor is it punishment for bad action. Neither is karma, okay, an accumulation of credit or debt which will determine some form of judgment on an individual when they pass, okay? So it's not like if you have bad karma, you'll pass away and go to hell, or you'll reincarnate as something negative, and if you have good karma, you'll have blessings and good things happen to you, and you'll reincarnate as something better or more beautiful. No, that's not what karma is or how it works. Karma is doing, action. That's it. Simple. You make it any more complicated than that, and you are creating delusion for yourself and confusion for no reason. But that the mind loves that, because otherwise it is desolated in the illumination of self-awareness and actual consciousness of reality. So the mind will obviously always try to obfuscate reality in whatever way it can and create a lot of illusion and delusion and, you know, a big smoke cloud around whatever the actual reality is. Okay? Because if it doesn't, then that means the desolation of the mind itself. And there is just the apparent awareness of the reality for what it is, and no mind. And the mind is almost like an entity that has its own fear of death. So when you come almost close to a realization of a truth of reality, your mind feels like part of it's going to die, so it goes into a panic, and it starts adding on confusion, obfuscation, to keep you away from an understanding of reality, to keep you confused in delusion, so that the mind can feel as though it's holding on to itself, its old ideas, etc. It doesn't want to be corrected, because that's a form of mini death. So that's scary for the mind. So the mind will automatically become rigid and stagnant and create delusions and build up a narrative of lies for itself in order to create a false perception of reality and not see the real reality before it, in order to hold on to itself and keep a identity which is founded in the past, which is your old ideas. Okay, so that's why people struggle with being corrected and observing reality for what it is. That's why there's all of this nonsense around what karma means. Okay? But at the end of the day, karma simply means, again, action, doing. So my karma right now is talking. Your karma right now is hopefully listening and paying attention to the words which I am talking, which is, again, my karma. It's neither good or bad. It's simply action. Now, I was rebutted. Okay? I was rebutted in saying this in public the other day. I was speaking to an individual about this subject, and we actually were discussing perhaps starting our own debate corner in a local town here, where I will, like the ancient philosophers in ancient Greek and Rome and whatnot, I will on occasion go to this little stage speaking, little speaking corner stage in a community centre area of a local town here, and I will open up space for the debates on all things and all topics, but primarily on the nature of existence, philosophy, theology, metaphysics, etc. Those higher understandings and subjects of intellect or the mind. So in this conversation with this individual, he rebutted me and he said that karma is action of the body. So me physically, I say, he tried to disagree and say that me talking isn't my karma, and that you listening to me talking right now isn't your karma. That the karma is simply like my hand moving from here to here. That's karma. Okay? The actual body moving itself. But this can simply be refuted itself. Okay? And it actually establishes my own conclusion as a valid fact. Right? So his premise is that karma is the body in action. Now, we can ask the simple question: where is your vocal box? Where is your brain, which sends neurological signals through your nervous system, electronic pulses, which actually activate the nerves within your vocal box, in the cells in your vocal box, creating or enabling it to vibrate and move and create certain frequencies of sound, which we call words? Well, the brain is inside the body. It's an action and happening of the body. It is the body. The vocal box is not found in a treasure chest. You don't dig in the garden and discover a human vocal box, and my speaking coming from a vocal box buried in the garden. No. Where do you find my vocal box? In my throat. In my body. Therefore, even according to this individual who tried to refute me, by his own premise, he actually validated my position and proved me correct. That karma is action of the body. And speaking is an action of the body, which is karma. Listening with your ear is an action of the body, which is your karma. Sitting still, not moving at all, is still karma, movement of the body. Because even if you sit perfectly still and don't move at all, your cells are moving, okay? Regenerating, dying, duplicating. You're constantly in flux. So even if you sit perfectly still, on an atomic level, your electrons are flying around the atoms and the neutrons. Everything's moving, frequencies of energy, which then solidify in our perception to create the apparent physical body. So even when the body is sitting completely still, that is still movement of the body, action of the body, because the body is always in action, the self is always with action. The self cannot be without action. There is always a happening, always a movement, even when you are sitting completely still, on an atomic level and on a cellular, molecular level. There is always some type of happening occurring, changes and fluctuations and movements within the body. Therefore, even sitting still is your karma. If you were sitting still and doing nothing else, just sitting, that is your karma in that moment. And that is what karma means. Now, my karma in this moment is to press the stop button on this video and say, take it easy.